Donald Trump's strategy on impeachment was fairly clear yesterday when he blocked the testimony of Sondland, who could have talked a little bit about the text messages that were incredibly damning. And it was formalized later in the day though. So to give you an idea, a little spoiler on what the strategy going forward is, here's Steve Doocy.
I don't think they had it until yesterday. It is minimum cooperation, maximum confrontation.
Okay, so that is the most astute analysis Steve Doocy's ever had. He can just co-spy for the rest of the year. So minimum cooperation, maximum confrontation, which is also, that's what they've always done. It's not new or anything, but the form is new. It comes in letter form. So they delivered this letter to the investigators in the House, effectively declaring that, no, we're not gonna do any of this. So I wanna read you some excerpts. Here's one section I liked. Never before in our history has the House of Representatives, under the control of either political party, taken the American people down the dangerous path you seem determined to pursue. So we've done this before, and the last time was the Republicans.
Yeah, which dangerous path are we talking about? The dangerous path of impeachment that we've never heard of before? Or are we talking about allowing a corrupt and wild-eyed president to continue to do whatever he wants in office? Which one of those things is the dangerous path? By the way, we have allowed a corrupt and dangerous president to do things before, just saying.
Yeah, many times I would argue, yeah. I would argue that's more dangerous. They're trying to pitch impeachment, which they were literally the last party to pursue, not based off of trying to sell out our elections to foreign powers for your own personal gain, but over oral sex. So I understand it is different. I would argue that oral sex less dangerous, depending on your dental health, less dangerous in general. But this is their communications right now. So let's give you a little bit more. Put simply, this is excerpt from the letter. Put simply, you seek to overturn the results of the 2016 election and deprive the American people of the president they have freely chosen. Many Democrats now apparently view impeachment not only as a means to undo the Democratic results of the last election, but as a strategy to influence the next election, which is barely more than a year away. Now, lest you believe that from that last bit that they would not have had a problem with this if it had been instituted earlier, I kind of doubt it. But this is to basically sway two elections. So in 2016, the American people freely chose Donald Trump, which is one way to spin what happened. We're gonna ignore 2018, literally everyone ignores 2018. Nobody talks about it on the right or on the left really. Like he got destroyed, the Republicans got destroyed, and everybody's just like, what name so? It doesn't look like anything to me.
What about talk of mandate? People elected this Congress to do something about this rogue president for everything he keeps putting out there. So whenever no matter what the time frame is, the talking point will always conform to it for Republicans. So if this happened early in the presidency, they'd be like, look at them trying to overturn the 2016 election with this impeachment talk right away. Or after 18, after some of the Democrats came in and said, we're gonna come in and impeach the MFer. They're like, okay, now it's after the midterms. You guys are trying to go halfway through this presidency to overturn 2016. Now that it's late in his first term, they'll be like, you guys are trying to go and change the 2020 election because it's late in the first term. So no matter what it is, they can always find a way to say, you guys are doing this at the wrong time. Because you know when the wrong time is? Any time for them.
Yeah, you can't talk about changing the Electoral College near an election, certainly. And right now, boring. Who should talk about that now? There's never the right time to do something they just don't want you to do.
Yeah, there is a right time for Mitch McConnell to say when President Obama's in office, I'm gonna do everything I can to make sure this president has absolutely nothing, can get no judges confirmed, can get nothing passed through the Senate because I'm in charge of it. That's okay. He can also say, it's been my only idea to make sure that this is a one-term president. How about you do your job?
Yeah, and look, it comes down to not the timing and not the partisanship, but the validity of the accusation. So I was doing a live video earlier today, and someone said, couldn't Obama have faced impeachment over effectively authorizing the assassination of two US citizens abroad with a drone strike? Yeah, potentially. Yeah, that's the sort of thing that they could have pursued. But that wasn't what the Republicans were pursuing. They were mostly just bothered by his skin color, honestly. But they would pretend that it was fiscal this and whatever that. And by the way, quick update, we'll jump back to this, but Donald Trump during the campaign trying to appeal to the Tea Party, which remember, was not a racial thing. It was about deficits. Said, I'm going to eliminate the national debt in 8 years. And the deficits have gone up so far in 2 years by 68%, I think. Man, the Tea Party will not stop talking about how much they've been betrayed. It's weird. They just keep on talking about it.
Well, they stopped talking because they stopped getting paid.
Exactly. Okay, so I want to give you a little bit more from the letter. JR, I want you to evaluate on a scale from 1 to 10, how attached to reality is this paragraph. For his part, President Trump took the unprecedented step of providing the public transparency by declassifying and releasing the record of his call with President Zelensky of Ukraine. The record clearly established that the call was completely appropriate and that there is no basis for your inquiry.
What's the point? I mean, so again, I'm not sure if we'll get to this, but we had like a few Republican congressmen came forward, Mark Meadows, Jim Jordan, Gates, all of them came out and had this firing squad of anger yelling, and Lee Zeldin yelling at the cameras and the reporters about everything that was going on. So they're angry and they're talking about how you're trying to subvert everything that's happening, and you should release what Volker said in testimony last week before we have Sondland come on. But every time something is released, from the Mueller report to then the not transcripts, but I guess the memo of the call that you decided to put out, no matter what it is, you will spin it a different way. We saw what happened with the Department of Justice when they got their hands on the Mueller report before anyone else got their hands on it. So releasing more things doesn't mean anything different. So in this case, he released that call that was completely appropriate, and there's no basis for your inquiry.
Yeah.
Based in nothing, they're just because they're saying it, and then that's the fact. It doesn't make any sense. So who cares what you release? You're gonna spin it the wrong way.
Yeah, and we're supposed to pretend that because some of them are congressmen and some of them are senators, Mitch McConnell's a senator, we cloak them in the aura of they were elected democratically, and thus they have this authority and responsibility and all that. Yeah, they were elected democratically and they have no interest in American democracy. They have no commitment to our Constitution. They don't believe in checks and balances. They are not in the legislature to provide a check on the president, regardless of whether the president is a Democrat or a Republican, as Congress is supposed to do. They're there to obfuscate for the president, their leader, their king, effectively. They're perfectly fine with that. Not all elected Republicans are. Most of them are just cowards hiding in the shadows and not being willing to stand up against him. But some are coming out enthusiastically in support of an American emperor. That's what they're doing. Now they go forward with another paragraph. We can flash it. I'm not gonna read the whole thing, but they end with, for all of these blah blahs, President Trump and his administration cannot participate in your partisan and unconstitutional inquiry under these circumstances, which was summed up very well on Colbert last night with like it's a courtroom. It's like, do you plead, are you guilty or innocent? What's your plea? And he's like, pass. No, you don't, it still goes on though. You can't just not participate. Like you can obstruct justice and thus commit more impeachable offenses, but you can't just step out. It doesn't just go away if you're not there. We're not looking for like branches of government quorum here.
The worst thing that this president has done to the Republican Party is expose just how susceptible they have been, always have been apparently, at least in recent history, to a dictator, to a strongman, to someone who will subvert every part of democracy that they say they love and hold dear and say makes America so much more exceptional than everywhere else. So foreign countries can look at this and go, wow, this was easier than we could ever have imagined. We didn't even have to do anything. They just elected a crazy person that a certain percentage of elected officials will follow no matter what, and literally say, I'm not sure if we're getting to Joe DeNova.
We will later on,
Genova, but they love kings. They want one now.
That's a great
Somehow
point.
America has become that.
We're gonna have that later on, yeah. Yeah, we have made some fatal errors. We have assumed that our democratic institutions are stronger than they are. We have assumed that our norms are anything other than paper-thin protections against an authoritarian. We've assumed that every American agrees, not on everything, not on the issues, but agrees on representative democracy, and we've been wrong on all of those things. That is simply not true. We're supposed to pretend that it is. It's like a happy thing to pretend that we would never be like all of these other democracies that have fallen to fascism and other forms of authoritarianism. That can never happen here, but it can happen here. People are trying to make it happen here now. The only question is, are we going to be stronger than those who want to overthrow our system of government? Thank you for watching this clip from the Damage Report. For more content from the show and access to TYT Network members-only exclusives, go to tyt.com/Brooke. Wait, no, it's tyt.com/John. Go to tyt.com/John to sign up.